Jeremy, week before the season starts. Firstly, how have preparations gone?
Yeah, very good. It's been busy, to say the least. Obviously, the majority of the squad have been with the Milk Cup group, so they've been out in Ireland. Which is obviously a tough pre-season, the intensity of the tournament and obviously the game after game, 5 days in a row. So in that sense, good preparation in terms of fitness, in terms of the amount of work that we've been able to do with the players, especially game-based scenarios. So yeah, in that sense, very well prepared. A few injuries we picked up along the way because of the intensity of it all, so there'll be a few players out for the start of the season, but no, been very good, very, very pleased.
And you mentioned about the guys who went to the Milk Cup. The guys who didn't go to the Milk Cup, how was their pre-season?
Hard. There were only 4 of them left behind. They're too old to be in the Milk Cup squad, but they would have been training with the under-21s, with the development squad. So they'll have found that difficult. It's a step up. The training intensity is a lot more. It's a lot quicker, but they've dealt with it really well. Obviously, the development squad 21s fixtures were against men's teams, so they played against Welling and Staines. So again, a tough environment to be in, but they've come through it really well. Yeah, very pleased.
And obviously you must be pleased with where the squad is ahead of Millwall on Saturday. Millwall, the side who did the double over us last year, but it was a good side. If you can beat them, you'll have a good season.
Yeah, I mean they're a good measuring stick. Really, they play the game in quite an adult fashion, if that makes sense. That it's not a sort of purist academy game. It's not all technical and all passing and all keep ball. There's a little bit of rough and tumble as well. So yeah, should be a very good gauge for us because again, as I say, for our style of play, we want to keep the ball, and we want to pass, but we play at a high intensity and a high tempo as well. And to come up against another team that does the same means that it should be a tasty game. Yeah.
And you've mentioned in interviews in the past, obviously, that winning's not everything. With the older age group now in the Milk Cup winning side, is there more pressure on you to win games of football this year?
Slightly, in a sense that we have got an older group overall. There'll be more players in the starting 11 each week who are second years. So there's a little bit more pressure on them to come through. There's no excuses anymore that, we're the younger side. There will be occasions during the season when under 16s will play up and when first years will play, of course, but there's a little bit less of an excuse for not putting on a good performance, whether it's the result or not. Okay, it could go either way, but in terms of the performance, if the performance isn't right, there's that excuse of the physicality, being out muscled by older players. That goes out the window a little bit. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yes, the pressure is on the second years a little bit more than it would have been last year.
And obviously the big one for you, obviously Montel making his first team debut the last few weeks, that must obviously please you, but obviously give the other guys a lot of encouragement. Yeah,
I think, look, we've got players coming through the system anyway, so players like Charlie Adams and Josh Clark as well have gone up recently. So there's always those players to look up to, but in a sense it's a little bit more of a confidence boost for the players, especially the second years, to see that a player's gone straight from the youth team straight into the first team squad and playing games. So for them, they can see that actually it's not 3 years away or 2 years away or however many years away they feel it could be now. It could be next season. So a little bit more of an incentive to really push themselves as hard as they possibly can, because they could go straight in there.
And you mentioned about playing up. Grady's started at the heart of the under-21s defence for most of the pre-season.
The 4 lads that stepped up have done well. Grady's played well when he stepped up. Hurston scored for the 21s last week. Zane's played extremely well in the games that he's played. I thought he was excellent against Staines. So yeah, the players that have stepped up, Nick Sadev as well, and Makasini Kanye. So yeah, they've all done well when they've stepped up. The question really for them isn't necessarily whether they can do it in pre-season or whether they can do it a game at a time. It's whether they can do it consistently well. So first they have to perform consistently well in the youth team, and then step up with the development squad and be consistent.
And one of the other features of this season again is the games against Northern sides, with the travelling, the match preparation.
Yeah, same again this season. We've got one almost immediately with Barnsley at the second game of the season. So yeah, that should be fun. It was a good trip up there last time, and we actually played very well on the day. We didn't get the result, but played extremely well. So yeah, those games will be excellent learning curve for the younger players, but also it would be good to carry on that with the older players, so they get used to that type of trip. And again, if they get called up to the first team as Montel's done, then they'll be used to it and they'll know exactly what to expect.
And just finally, the extra games since the northern sides bring up sort of a 26-game season, which is a bit more intense. There's a lot of games before Christmas, so the way of getting those players used to game after game, quick fire.
Yeah, again, because the pre-season's been quite intense, we've got a few players out injured, so that doesn't entirely suit us well. But at the same time, that's the way that the first team will be. You know, it's they've got a tough season, Tuesday, Saturday. So again, for us to be to have an intense games programme with those additional fixtures is, I think, it's good for us. The first years need to get used to that quickly, and they'll find out that, you know, full-time training and games every week, you know, coming thick and fast is part of the programme. So yeah, actually, you know, overall in terms of a learning environment, I think it's good for us. Right now, probably not the best with a few players out injured. There'll be a few players that are asked to do quite a lot in terms of load. There'll be a lot of games for them, whereas we'd like to rotate it a little bit more. But that's the way of it, and those players will learn that as well.